Hey, tell him pour another glass. Yeah, drinks on me. Hey, tell Shawty move that ass. Work it on me. Hey, baby, don't slow down. Bring it up to speed. Bring it up to speed. Yeah, we going buck wild. And I'm with my team. Yeah, I'm with my team. Yeah, I'm medicated. Drink a fifth. I'm hella faded. Plead the fifth. It's complicated. Sorry for the wait. Like I'm Lil Wayne. Sorry for the wait. I was on a plane. Sorry for the wait.
We're back. In today's episode, we've done what we've always been talking about.
We've waited a long time for cars like these, and now they're finally here in our garage.
So what we've done is we wanted to buy one supercar. We haven't done that. We've bought two. So we have two matching Corvette C7 Z51 package with
7-speed manuals.
both 7-speed manuals. Basically the perfect Corvette, the perfect Stingray, and it has T-tops. Jay's roof is on because mine is broken. So it should be obvious to tell already, but both of these cars are salvaged and they have not been repaired at all. So that job is going to be up for us. And now we're going to take you back to the night that we bought them and then tell you guys how we found two perfect Corvettes that fit us both perfectly.
Alright you guys, so I just pulled my Corvette onto the trailer. Tucker's tow truck just showed up at the same time. The car's way too wide for this trailer. I can't even get out the door, but luckily it's a T-top. So what I'm gonna do is pop the T-top, climb out of the roof, and then we're gonna go help Tucker get the other C7 Corvette loaded.
Okay, buddy, first time driving the Corvette, how is it?
Well, it's going really smooth. Not actually driving the car, but kind of driving it. It's on the trailer behind us, so technically it's the first test drive. We'll be doing more in the actual Corvettes, but for now we're just going to be towing them.
Okay, so we're taking the Corvette home right now. We're about to drop it off. I'm actually being hauled on the trailer by Jay in the truck and sitting on the engine, LT1 right now. Sitting on 460 horsepower. We're about to make 600 horsepower, no questions asked, because we didn't show you guys this before, but the engine is actually perfectly already set up for us to put a cam in it because there's no front end. So we're like, well, we might as well get stoned with two birds at once and just throw it in. How'd you get out?
So the trailer is a little bit too narrow. We can't really get the doors open more than like 3-4 inches, but we had a solution. It's a T-top, perfect. So we took off the roof and I'm just gonna climb in. Shoes off, of course. It's a 2015 Corvette.
And by the way, we've already replaced Corvette window glass, so if he breaks it, it's not that big of a deal. You in?
Yep.
All right, let's roll. Good job, buddy. Something you've never said before.
Dude, I'm cleaning my bread.
Good job. Good job, you did it, buddy.
So we gotta get this in the garage. It's rolling back, obviously, but let me start her up real quick.
First drive, buddy, how was it?
Really freaking nice, buddy. It feels great. The clutch actually isn't as bad as I was thinking. It's not great, but it was grabbing a little bit better. Initially, when I pulled it on the trailer, I was thinking the clutch was completely gone. Hopefully we can salvage it though. We'll see.
Okay, so interview question, be honest. Do you think we're gonna be able to rebuild this?
No, I don't, but we will.
Don't close it, buddy.
Such a dick. Sorry, buddy.
Woo.
I actually can't get out.
Bryce, now you want to help?
Cooper.
You have broken fingers? Okay, I'll grab.
Right there, right there.
Oh.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, that's all right, boys.
Keep going, keep going. So this C7 right here is 3/4 of a C7. We'll be adding the remaining quarter to it, but that will be later on in the next episodes. But this car obviously was in a high speed collision to the front, and we had a little bit of frame damage, actually a lot. It's kind of missing the frame. So that's one of the major problems that we're gonna have to dig more into and kind of figure out as we go. But the remaining 3/4 of the car is, I would say, 6.57 out of 10. There's a couple little dings on the side skirts that I'll fix, but for the most part, the damage is all up front. And the very surprising thing about this car is the engine still runs. It's missing the entire radiator, it's missing the AC condenser, basically all the electronics that plug in to this area, missing headlights, and it just fires right up.
So this car is basically the same exact one as this car. It's a 2015 Z51, which is like in between Stingray and Z06. Makes 460 horsepower, both of them do, and we're gonna bring those both up to 500 so we can have 1,000 in the garage. This car, unlike Jay's, was hit on the side. So the reason that we have both of these cars is because somebody bought this one from auction first, and then they bought this one second. They're going to basically combine both cars and then have a perfect Corvette. But because we do things by code, we don't want to do that. We're going to rebuild both of them, have perfect driving cars, and then it's going to be perfect because TLJ can have 2 matching cars.
So if you asked us about, I don't know, 3-4 days ago, I can't even remember how long it's been since we've owned them, but if you asked us about 3-4 days ago if we would ever have a C7 Corvette, there's no way in my mind that I would believe you. I mean, these cars kind of just fell into our hands. It worked out how it should have. I mean, it was almost like it was meant to be. And we're just so excited to finally start a huge project like this, because this has been kind of our dream, is getting into higher end rebuild cars. We've never really done anything this serious. And so it's going to be a major challenge. We're going to learn a bunch, and we're just going to have fun with it.
So most people that we know will see like the cars that we have and stuff, or like the work that we're doing. And they're always like, how do you guys just know how to do that? The thing is, with these cars, we have no idea what we're doing. We've just saved up. We've been living cheap forever for the day that we can get supercars, or at least really intense sports cars. We've finally done it. And the only way that we were able to do it was by getting cars that have tons of damage. Like, if you guys know about Corvettes, their body is completely made out of fiberglass. We've never worked on fiberglass before, but that's the thing about what we do, is we're just going to go for it. We don't know how to do it, but we have YouTube, auto parts stores in our brains, and we're just a little bit stupid enough to do it. We're both only 21, and most people would think that this is a terrible investment because it could go very wrong, and it definitely could, but it won't.
So these may look intimidating, but if you think about it, we have 2 of the exact same car, so that means we're able to take his front end that isn't damaged and go through every single part, and then go over to my car that doesn't even have a front end. So imagine trying to figure out where parts go without having a front end to go off of. So basically we can just go from here. It's like a map. It'll show us exactly what to do and all the parts I need, and vice versa, because my whole right side of the car is perfectly clean, and that's where Tucker's damage is. So we're gonna take off these fenders, the door, get to the dry sump oil tank, which we will be replacing on his car. And so we can figure out how it all works, and it should be fairly easy.
So for my car, this one took a huge hit on the side. Something cool about these cars also is traditionally in an engine, like you've seen on our oil changes we've done on every single car, they have an oil pan underneath the car. But with a sports car, if you're going around a corner and you have G-forces, all the oil will push to one side and then it doesn't get in the engine. So this car has my computer fell. This car has a dry sump system. So 2 different tubes come out into this tank, go back in, and then this separates all the oil from the air. And then with it being here, it keeps the oil in high pressure so that the engine always has oil no matter how hard you're turning. The bad thing about this one is this thing got busted. It was hit here, cracked a huge tank that fills this space, cracked this. So actually a bunch of water got in the top and then was coming out here when we were getting it. So I actually thought for a second that the engine was going to be blown. We don't think it is now, but we won't know until we start it, which we can't do because my wiring harness is cut. So here's my computer. This is an ECU. It sits right in here, and then basically this module tells the car how to act and stuff. This is also how tuning works. So a tuner can connect to this, tell the car how to run, make more power, less power, better fuel mileage. But without this, the car's not gonna run at all. So I don't have this, and then everything here just got smashed in. Also, the door took a big hit, as you can see. And it got pushed up at these brackets, so it's locked shut. We need to pull it off somehow. We haven't figured it out yet, but we will. And We were talking about fiberglass work, but this door is definitely not salvageable. This mirror is going to be broken too. I actually might just get ahead of the curve. We'll figure that out.
There might be good components in there.
True. And then the last thing that's wrong with this car, obviously the headlight's broken. These are like $1,000. It just is what it is. The hood works fine. But one of the biggest problems for this car right now is these are super intense Michelin Sport tires. Really expensive to replace. And mine is ripped on the sidewall, so I can't repair it. I have to replace it. And I have a busted control arm. So it's kind of going to be hard to tell. But this whole entire wheel is crooked and it doesn't even steer. So big project. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. In the next video, we're going to be tearing things apart, kind of figuring out, getting a better idea of what we need to replace. But for now, we're super excited with the cars. We can't wait to get to work, tear them apart, finally get them to run, figure out my wiring, figure out his radiator, So we're going to get to work on the next videos as soon as we can. But for now, thanks for watching.
What the dollar say, Bombay, mix it with the lemonade. I can put you in good hands like I am Allstate. So faded, I'm seeing in slow-mo. She go up and down just like a yo-yo. Lights flashing, I'm cheesing in the photo. Listen to Jaden Smith, now she wanna go to Soho.